MotorCast, the latest in automotive news. Brett Wharf here with you on WVKR.com each and every Thursday. It's all brought to you by Diesel Up. Last week we laid the tribute out to Robin Williams, and once again we want to say God bless. And coming up this week is something that I didn't think that we would ever do again, at least this soon. It's Rental Car Rumble. Volume 2. Last time we did the Rumble, it was between my friends, a Ford Fusion, and a Nissan Altima. Fusion won. I was headed down to Gatlinburg, 40 West. Stopped off at a rest area, went inside, came back out. The car started, but then it died right out. Whatever fuel was in the lines was still keeping it going. But I never got to leave. 3.5 hours away from Owensboro, 2 hours away from Gatlinburg. Basically the part of the trip where you just don't want to be broken down. Let me break this down quickly for you. 3 hours of mental diagnostic on my car. I think it's the fuel pump, but I'm not sure. I have this older guy yamming in my ear about how he doesn't think it's the fuel pump. Call the family in Gatlinburg 2 hours away and request help. Then call a 24-hour towing service. They come and drag my car out of there. I have no idea where I am. And Uncle Chris to the rescue. And now it's time to get Wharf Weekend 11 started. So we finally get to Gatlinburg, and by Saturday it's time to start thinking about what we're going to do. This was a Thursday when my car broke down, by the way. Either my mom can take me to the towing service 2 hours away, which is 2 hours out of her way because she has to go back to Marietta, or we get a rental car. She liked the rental car idea better, so I went with it. She said, call up unspecified rental car dealership and see what you can get, and then she specified economical. I've grown accustomed to the torque of a V8 in the space of a Cadillac, but then I thought about it. I was like, MotorCast segment? Uncle Chris is a Cadillac guy, and he took me down to unspecified rental car dealership. And when we got there, I told them who I was, gave them my information and things like that, and they handed me the keys, yet again, to a brand new car. They said, it's in the car wash bay, it'll be out in a second. I said, okay, great. Went and sat down, checked over some magazines and things like that, and then it started to wheel itself out. It was this little itty-bitty 2014 Toyota Yaris. A surprising 106 horsepower out of this little tiny four-cylinder. 0 to 60 in about 12 or 13 minutes. The steering wheel was smaller than a golf cart tire, and my favorite part about it was that I could lean over and open the glove box without even moving. Very, very tiny, but very, very economical as well. I mentioned 37 miles to the gallon. Not bad. I'm used to 17. So we're still sitting inside at this point, and I look over at my uncle, and he has this big grin on his face because he likes his space when he drives, and he knows that I do too. But I said, this is great. It's a little tiny zippy car. It'll get me around town as much as I need it this weekend, and it'll get me home if I need it then as well. So we go outside, and they start explaining the insurance things with me. They say, if you check this box, if you smash into somebody's house, you're covered for up to $1 million. If you hit somebody, you're covered for up to $100,000, and so on and so forth. I got the lowest amount. I know you don't plan on smashing into somebody's house, but I really didn't plan on smashing into anybody's house. So I didn't get that one. So we're standing out in front of this little tiny red car, and I'm checking off all the little boxes that I want and things like that. And I look up at the windshield, and this guy's talking to me in my ear, telling me that, maybe it's necessary to get full coverage insurance on this thing and all that kind of stuff. And I look up at the windshield, and there is one windshield wiper. And I said, hang on a second, is there one windshield wiper on this car? And my uncle behind me just starts clapping his hands and howling and everything like that. He thought it was hilarious. I thought it was hilarious too. Never seen that in America. So we get everything signed and we take off. Not the fastest car in the world by any means. Not the most spacious. But the 2014 Toyota Yaris ain't bad. Probably would never buy one, but I'm just saying. Oh yeah, my car. I completely forgot. Fuel pump went out. So we'll switch gears a little bit and talk about maybe the future of driving. This was featured in the Messenger Inquirer in Owensboro business section this past Sunday. And at first glance, you're really not thinking too much about it. But once you start to really research what this car is all about, I was thinking that I might break my Cadillac-only rule. Now, this car has everything that you could ever imagine in a regular car. It's got AM/FM radio, CD, MP3, manual or automatic gearbox, GPS. It's got everything. It's a one-door, two-seater Elio. Now, I heard my buddy's uncle talking about this because he's maybe thinking about getting one of these. And after I did some more research on this, I'm starting to consider. It seems we're talking about small cars yet again on MotorCast, but if Elio is really planning on bringing this thing out, then we have to talk about it. It's groundbreaking. Now, here's the thing. It's got 3 wheels, but don't leave yet. Reports say when you're driving it, it doesn't feel anything like that. It doesn't feel like you're driving with 3 wheels. It feels like a regular car. So let's take a look at the smart car really quick. It's one of the smallest cars in the world. It gets 38 miles to the gallon, and they want $13,270 for it. Hey, 38 miles to the gallon. 13.2 is not too bad, right? How does 84 miles to the gallon sound? More than double than the smart car, so you would assume that it might cost a little bit more. But it doesn't. 90% of the materials on this car are made in America. The front wheels are out and exposed for stability. The driver obviously up front, and the only other seat is right behind the driver. $6,800. Now, it does have a 3-cylinder, which seems kind of small, but the prototype is the only one that has been driven. We're assuming the 3-cylinder is going to stay, but they're probably going to double the torque and more than likely give it more horsepower. It's only hitting about 55 horsepower right now, but that 55 horsepower will take this car up over 100 miles an hour. It's so interesting to look at, and the website gives you all different kinds of color options, and they're wanting people to get these for fleet vehicles and things like that. It's interesting. It only has one door on the left side. Because it's an American car, you still kind of want to get in on the left-hand side of the car. I watched a drive test on YouTube, and they were saying that it kind of feels like you're sitting in a living room chair, but it's moving. So I'm assuming it's comfortable. They already have over 30,000 reservations, and they plan on this car hitting the market in the first quarter of 2015. This one is still in the maybe phase with me, but I'm starting to like it more and more every time I see it. One more thing before we take off here. I read an article about how they may be thinking about taking spare tires out of cars completely. They said 50% of the reason is because it would be cheaper to just put a patch in there so you could put it on your tire, fill it back up with air, and truck it. And the other 50% was because they think that people don't know how to change a spare tire in the first place, so why have it? So looking back over MotorCast this week, Toyota is a shaky yes, and the brand new Elio prototype, I'm giving it 1.5 thumbs up right now. Starting to love it. Big special thanks to our buddies out at the Diesel Up Garage, 3247 Commerce Drive in Newburgh. Head on out there, bring your trucks, and set them up on the dyno, see how much power they got. And also check out all the products that they make in-house. 3247 Commerce Drive in Newburgh. Diesel Up, next level diesel performance. And we'll see you next week.